Hey everybody, welcome to RCAM. We are up to episode number 8. Thank you for joining me today. So there is a lot to talk about and not enough time to talk about it. So I'm sure most of you are painfully aware of the law that has been passed in Alabama following the bill that was recently passed in Georgia. And I think it is a major win for the pro-life movement. I am very, very ecstatic about this, and I hope that more states follow suit. But this bill has been met with a tremendous amount of backlash from the pro-choice movement. And what I want to do with this video is take some time to speak specifically to the people that are in the pro-life movement. Now, a lot of pro-lifers are often mischaracterized. People really don't know what it is that we stand for, and I find that really troubling. So a lot of times we'll hear people say that we're only doing this to control women's bodies. That's kind of silly. We're doing this to save the bodies, save the lives of other human beings. That's the whole point of being pro-life. A lot of people also make the argument that the pro-life movement is made up of predominantly men. Also not true. It's about even. There are a lot of pro-life men and a lot of pro-life women that care deeply for the lives of other human beings. And I want to take the time to remind you guys, if you're a pro-lifer, I want to remind you of what it is we are fighting for. I want to remind you of the laws that were passed that allow women to abort their baby into the 3rd trimester. We already have several states that have these laws on the books. We have, I know for sure off the top of my head, Colorado and New Mexico allow abortions into the 3rd trimester for whatever reason. And New York has now followed suit, and abortions are basically allowed for health issues. And that language is intentionally vague because health could constitute, mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, psychological health, whatever reason they really want to abort a child in that term. But that's what sparked all of this. And don't let the pro-choice movement bully you into submission or bully you into compromise. There is no compromise when it comes to taking the life of another human being. And the question that we always need to be asking is, when is it okay to take the life of another human? And if you believe and value human rights, you'll always arrive at the answer that it is never okay to take the life of another human being. There is no situation that justifies the murder of another human being. This is what we're fighting for. And you need to remember that. Remember, we're not fighting for our own convenience. We are not fighting for our own rights. We are not fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for the rights of other human beings. We are fighting for the rights of babies. We are fighting for the right for babies to be able to breathe. This is what we are fighting for. And this is worth fighting for, and it'll always be worth fighting for. And even if you're fighting alone, even if you're the only one saying this is wrong, you are still right. You are still on the right side of history. Because there is never a situation that justifies taking the life of another human. And that is something that you ought to remember. That is something that you ought to keep at the forefront of your mind as you engage with people in the pro-choice movement. That you're fighting for life. That you're fighting for the rights of unborn children to experience the richness and the beauty this world has to offer. This world is a beautiful place. And we're facing something that is deeply, deeply troubling. And we need to shine a light on it. We need to expose this movement for what it is. a movement that aims ultimately to end the lives of other human beings. Now, I know that a lot of pro-choicers are misinformed. They don't acknowledge that what they're doing is taking the life of another human being, but that's the reality of the situation, is that this is a human life. It can't be anything else. Now, if it were a parasite living inside somebody, a real parasite, which, show me one situation where a parasite magically turns into a human outside the birth canal. Oh yeah, that's right, that never happens. It never happens because it's not a parasite, because it's a developing human being. And from conception, that human being is developing and continues to develop all the way through pregnancy as a human being. And we're all technically developing human beings, going through stages of development all the way until death. But we're always human. And that's important to remember, is that our humanity is continuous. It starts at conception and it ends when we die. And nobody has the right to interfere with that. Nobody has the right to stop that. Nobody. So just remember what we're fighting for, guys. And continue to fight for life. Because life is always worth fighting for. It's a beautiful thing that we should all cherish and that we should all value. And I believe that one day we will see more babies being born than ever before. We will see a world that rejects the idea of taking the life of another human being. And we'll see a world filled with compassion for these women who are in this difficult circumstance. They'll do whatever it takes to help these women in need. And that's a world that I desperately want to see. And I believe we're starting to see the tides turn. And that is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you like the content that you're seeing, you're welcome to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And God bless you guys. Deuces.